Are you planning to buy an off-plan in Dubai this year? You might want to pause because some of the flashiest launches aren't what they seem, and not every payment plan or promise adds up. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 5 hottest off-plan projects right now in Dubai. The ones that actually make sense when it comes to location, capital appreciation, ROI, and most importantly, developer reputation. Stick with me till the end and I'll tell you which one I'd personally keep an eye on for this year. Let's dive in. While there are many off-plans that have launched in 2025 in Dubai, some of them might just be a little bit better and it caught my attention. Again, I'm not related to any developers whatsoever. I just chose them because I personally thought they're quite interesting to me, and I felt like these were the ones that you might want to look in because they tick the box for me as a good investment feasibility. So first we're going to the Al Jadaf area and we're looking at the Bingati Ivory, a super strategic spot between downtown and Dubai Creek Harbor. This one's making pretty good waves already. Location is central but pretty affordable comparing to downtown. It's also close to major highways and Dubai healthcare city. And finally, rental demand is actually rising while professionals seek more central but cost-effective options. What is the ROI potential here? Similar buildings in Al Jadaf are yielding around 6 to 7% annually as the ROI after all the maintenance bills are paid and everything's covered. But most importantly, there is strong capital appreciation expected as the area is developing. There will be this new line for the high-speed train that comes from Abu Dhabi to Dubai and vice versa. That stop is actually going to be Al Jadaf, which definitely will increase the prices for the property that is there. Nevertheless, why I actually chose this one? Because I really like Bingati's payment plans. They have a pretty strong and investor-friendly payment plan option, often with long post-handover flexibility. For this project specifically, they have been launched quite some time ago and they will actually be completed very soon. So you might not get the best payment plans. But right now, there are pretty good offers in this area. And even if you pay with a payment plan, you can still get them at around 850 to 1 million for a studio or one bedroom, which is pretty impressive for the strategic location where Al Jadaf is located. And why I said for these projects, because besides the Ivory, there is also Bingati Ghost, which is just nearby in the same area, and I think it's just a few minutes walk one from another. Same developer, different vibe. Bingati Ghost is another 2025 launch from Bingati, and it has a bit of a more premium vibe. It's a branded style tower with a bold, futuristic architectural theme. And it's also positioned to attract mid to high-end buyers who want affordability. So in terms of ROI, similar to Bingati Ivory, but just because of the pricing, which is a little bit higher, you might expect some lower ROI in there. However, you definitely are looking at some better capital appreciation. Design appeal and visibility of this area will definitely influence the long-term demand, and also with the area being such strategically located, you will also have the access to the Marina Walk in Al Jadaf, so it's going to be a really beautiful place, at least in my opinion. I'm also going to show you what were the actual offers that I got from Bingati directly, so you can compare and see what were the increases in the prices, the fluctuations, and this is what I get directly from them. So I'll just show it transparently to you. And with the latest news that I got from them in Bingati Ghost and Ivory, the studios were 850,000, that is for Ghost, and one bedroom in Ivory is 1.2 million by now. 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms go a bit higher, obviously, so you will have them at 2 and 3 million dirhams. Bingati is really building fast, so when we see the handovers for them, well, for the Bingati Ghost, it's going to be Q1 2026, and as you can see from the messages, the studio is at 800k full cash and 825 if it's 50% down payment, and regular payment plan is going to be 850,000 dirhams. And more or less the same for Ivory, which comparing to Ghost is going to be handed over in Q4 2025, so this year. And basically here the payment plan would be 70/30 for 1 bedroom. So it's quite a stretch for you if you don't have the cash for this year, because you'll have to complete it by this year. But if you do have the cash and if you're a smart investor, you might want to actually benefit by paying in full and then do the refinance with the bank. Get your money back, put a mortgage on this, rent it out, and voila, you're having your really good ROI paid by your tenant. If you're deciding between the Ivory Tower or the Ghost, it's basically a decision between a more premium feel versus probably better ROI for Ivory. Also, think like an investor and not the actual person who's going to live in there, because you are not going to live in there, isn't it true? If you're buying this as an investment, then look at the best rate per square foot. So many of these are actually for the studios, for the smallest apartments, because you can do anything you want with them. You can rent them on long term. You can also rent them on Airbnb. As an Airbnb guest, I wouldn't really care if there are 5 meters extra or more. Now, we spoke about Bingati, Ivory, and Ghost, which were the 2 projects that I initially chose to discuss. And let's go to the next one, which is from a different developer, but it's quietly becoming a really good one. I'm speaking about Sky Hills Astra by HRE. It's located right next to Dubai Hills and Arjan, so it has really close proximity to all the best locations in the neighborhoods and the MR ecosystem nearby. But how I found out about this project, I actually reached out to some of my partner connections who really recommended this project, and one of them is Imad from Wim Real Estate. I literally asked him, which project would you personally invest in? And he sent me a couple of them, and I found this as something that would be quite interesting for me. And first of all, because of the location is really good. And secondly, because of the payment plan. Payment plan is super attractive with 60% till handover and making it really easy to be paid, because you only have to pay 20% on the booking and then you pay 3% every 6 months. That makes it really attractive. The project seems really interesting also because it's going to actually be directly connected with the metro. That is going to be the Pink Line metro station, and it's only 5 minutes from Dubai Hills, and completion is in December 2027. So honestly, I was just chatting to Imad as a friend, what would he do in this case, and I think we might actually end up looking at some options there. There are some really interesting options that you can simply get, and basically after paying for a couple of months, the project is going to be completed in 2027. You can rent it out and basically let the tenant pay your remaining payment plan. If we speak about the available options, there are quite a few of them. There are regular studios, premium studios, which basically differ by their sizes. There are 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. Us personally, we were mainly looking at the smaller units just because we wanted to basically be able to maximize our profits and maybe rent it out on Airbnb to just have a bit of an extra profits on that. However, the prices are seemingly pretty attractive, at least with this payment plan. I wouldn't say these are the best prices, honestly. I think you can find something better in the area. I'm pretty sure you can find in Dubai Land and Arjan for like 600k, and it's already made and you can make profits on that. However, considering this kind of payment plan, it started to interest me a bit more. So basically, to reiterate, is 20% down payment plus 4% DLD, 15% during construction, 25% on handover, and 40% in 40 months post handover. While I'm not expecting that this project will bring me the highest ROI out of all the projects that I'm currently looking at, I do sympathize the payment plan a lot. It's really easy to do, and also the developer, I've heard of them in the past. I know that they have been present in the Business Bay area, in the Bay Square center specifically, and while HRE is a newer player, it has shown consistent good design standards and quick build pace. And like I mentioned, this project was introduced to me when I asked Imad, who is the founder of Wim Real Estate and also one of our partners. He personally reached out with this and showed me around the Sky Hills Astra. And as many of you know, I'm not usually impressed by any of plans, but this one caught my attention, and that's for a reason. The payment plan is incredibly investor friendly, low entry, stretch terms, and manageable installments, which makes it a pretty rare find in these price ranges. And while Wim Real Estate are specialists in off-plans and ready properties across Dubai, and they're also one of the official representatives for HRE, the developer behind this project. HRE is a growing developer with a focus on the design standards and quality. They've been picking up momentum in 2024-2025 by launching affordable and strategically located communities with solid rental potential, which is what we like. If that caught your attention, well then reach out to either me or Imad and he will help you with this project, tell you more about this, and maybe you will be one of the future investors in this project. I'm personally currently thinking of booking one unit in there, and I just need to do my maths right to make sure that everything falls into place. So who knows, maybe we'll be neighbors. Number 4 is Address Grand by MR in downtown. So comparing to the first 3 that I mentioned, this one is for those who want that extra luxury and the most premium location. While I wasn't sure that I wanted to mention this project, I personally think it will definitely be a hit. Unbeatable location, Burj Khalifa views, walking distance to Dubai Mall, and fully branded residence, making it a pretty spectacular place. It has really high-end user demand and rental appeal. The ROI potential could be quite high because of its very central location, yet it's priced pretty premiumly as well, so it's not cheap. The prices for 3 bedrooms, there are only 14 3-bedroom units, would start at 10.86 million dirhams. So they will of course increase after that for the duplexes, for the 4, 5 bedrooms and the 5-bedroom duplex, which is the most expensive. There are only 5 of them and they are at 51.7 million dirhams. And if you're still here and not scared of this really huge numbers, well, let me tell you quickly before we move into the next one. The payment plan for this project is pretty much similar to all the MR units. 10% down payment in first installment, 10%, then another one 5% is basically once in a few months, and there will be also bigger installments when the construction is completed, so 30%, making it a 70-30 payment plan. Finally, another interesting project that I want to mention, this is the MAG 777 in the Sports City. So jumping from the really highly priced projects, although still quite interesting, I think, especially in the off-plan sector, this one is definitely one of the most budget-friendly, and it's in a new area that is quite evolving, and many of you guys who are watching my videos were always asking and commenting whether I want to cover Sports City. So here's the time when I first introduced Sports City to this community. It has very good access to Al Khail and Hessa Street, close to stadiums, schools, and all kinds of academies around. So in my opinion, for the mid-tier market, it has some good appeal for the long-term rentals. It is obviously slightly undervalued as the other neighboring areas like JVC and JLT. However, especially the 1-beds and studios see really good rental returns from about 7 to 8% and making higher move if you're having a mortgage on that and your tenant is paying that principal. MAG offers one of the most flexible and affordable payment plans, making it really appealing for the smaller investors. In comparison to some of the other previously mentioned developers, MAG has been active for many years and has been focused on high volume and delivery consistency. So which one would I watch closely for this year? If you're looking for strong ROI with low entry point, then definitely definitely is going to be MAG 777, where, by the way, I didn't mention that the prices start at 777,000 dirhams. And the second one would obviously be the Sky Hills Astra by HRE, as that one has a really appealing location and, of course, the payment plan that I already mentioned. But if you want branding, prestige, and long-term luxury, Address Grand will hold the value for decades. Personally, for me, although this might surprise you after I said that I really like the MAG and the Sky Hills Astra, I would still choose the Al Jadaf buildings. Central, growing, still very affordable, and most importantly, I personally see some good capital appreciation in this area. Finally, another notable mention in the more higher segment is Shoba 1, which was actually launched a couple of years ago, so it's not really fair to include it in this list. However, I do know that it's still in construction and is a pretty good project. So while it was launched at 1.1 to 1.3 million for the one bedrooms, making it a very strong entry point for locations around Ras Al Khor and downtown, it is now obviously selling for more. However, I do personally know and I've seen many distressed sales in this building. Even recently, I've seen people selling for 1.5 million their one bedrooms, which I personally think is a very good deal. So if you want to watch it out closely and see maybe you find something there, then definitely do so. Shoba has an unmatched build quality, especially recently, and a pretty good reputation for delivering gated communities. Honestly, why I actually mentioned this, it's because it has a really stunning architecture as a whole. Just the building itself, Shoba 1, as in the buildings that construct the whole architectural site, looks really interesting and cool. Nevertheless, if you're looking at one of these projects or anything else, I'm unbiased and I would love to help you get the best deal on your budget, but also based on your long-term goals, the exit strategy, whether that is for short-term rentals or long-term rentals. So do book a one-to-one strategy call with me. We'll map out the best performing areas, the developer risks as well, and even run ROI simulations. My calendar is getting booked pretty quickly, so if you're interested in any of these calls or the coaching sessions, then definitely drop me a DM right now or just book your first session and we'll take it from there. And if this video was helpful to you, at least a bit, then don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more of this in the future, and with this, I will see you in the next one.